It's not looking good for Holby City's finest heart surgeon, Jack Naylor, Rosie Marcel. When we last saw her, she was lying motionless on her office floor after having a seizure. Will Max, Joe Martin, get to her in time? Or is that the end for Jack Naylor? This followed a day of high pressure for Jack, as the hospital was being inspected yet again to see if she'd managed to turn it around from its former failing status. Eli, Davud Gadami, and the newly returned Nikki, Belinda Owusu, had to do what Jack described as a highly ambitious thoracic abdominal aneurysm repair, which was as difficult to do as it is to spell. With blood spurting everywhere and Nikki away dealing with a childcare emergency, Jack had to step in herself and help Eli with an emergency experimental use of Eli's descending aorta stent. She just about held things together as the operation was completed successfully, but straight afterwards she disappeared. As Max and Hanson, Guy Henry, waited for her to appear to give her big presentation to the hospital inspectors, we saw her lying on the floor of her office. It's going to be a tense wait until next week. Meanwhile, Russ Faber, Simon Slater, had a spare liver on his hands after someone who was due to receive a transplant died on the operating table. Against protocol, Hanson agreed to give Russ some time to find another recipient at Holby, and lo and behold, one appeared. His name was Alan Sullivan, Neil Fox Roberts, and his deafness gave Donna J. Jacobs a chance to showcase her sign language skills. Her favorite word? Booty call, apparently. Alan's fiancée Maura, Kate Locke Gamanara, was the kind of woman who gets feelings about things and people, and she had a feeling about Hanson. There was something positive in his future, she said. Well, if anyone deserves a break, he does. Was Maura detecting a spark between Russ and Hanson? Sometimes it just clicks, she told Holby's tallest doctor. Hanson had a little think about Russ. Clinically, he's exceptional, he offered. Yes, and the rest of it. When Russ later invited Hanson over to eat and drink like kings, Hanson seemed quite amused to call it a date. He looked most disappointed when Russ said he'd rustle up some mates to make a party of it. Madge, Claire Burt, spent the day in a very grumpy mood, and we discovered part of the reason for it when she had to change her uniform mid-shift, and we saw that her body is bruised and scarred. She was obviously still in pain too, so at least some of the wounds were recent. Could Madge be dealing with domestic violence? Or is there some other explanation? Nikki's return brought the usual childcare issues that every Holby parent must face, meaning she had to find a quick babysitter for little Juliet. Amelia, Lucy Briggs Owen, got roped into the task, which was obviously hard for her as she's grieving the very recent death of her own unborn baby. There was very nearly a romance between Nikki and Lewis, Tyler Luke Cunningham, before she plumped for multiple murderer Cameron instead. And when they saw each other in pulses it was a little bit awkward, particularly when Killy, Amy Murphy, bobbed over to introduce herself. Nikki and Lewis used to be a lovely couple, but it will be too sad if Killy gets her heart broken by them getting together. Particularly when Killy comes out with such glorious foot in the mouth lines as saying of Nikki's baby, "Do you think she looks like you?" or "Air." Sue Hostler is the author of 5 novels and the official BBC Holby City book, which you can read about here.